Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And we're live. Welcome in. Keep it in the ring. Your home for combat sports. I'm Rich Mancuso. Once again, thanks for being with us for this Thursday night edition of July 18, 2024. Live on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also, Jabronis United, String Punk Entertainment, and our Facebook page, Keep It in the Ring. We're all over the place. My social media handles at the bottom of the screen as always. X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Get me there. Those are my social media handles. I'll get back to you. I try to get in each and every one of you the best that I can every week. Also, the fight's coming up on the calendar here in the summer season of boxing. Not as big as it would be. It's going to be bigger as we get into the fall part of it in September. Scroll to the bottom of your screen throughout this next hour or so of Keep It in the Ring. Significant fights to watch for, including Jake Paul, if you look at that significant this weekend on the Zone. So, with all of that, let's get to it. Later on in the hour, hopefully, Lou DelValle, former light heavyweight champion of the world, will join me, discuss his career a bit, and boxing where it is today. And my friends, that's what I want to talk about. At least the first 6 months or into July of the boxing schedule so far. It's been interesting. You'll read my column. We posted up later tonight more in detail on this on NewYorkSportsDay.com and String Punk Entertainment Sports. You know, for the first 6 months, June into July, we've had the upsets. We've had the controversy. We've had that controversy with O'Shaquie Forster losing the featherweight title because of 3 blind mice at ringside a few weeks ago. We've had some unification fights, and of course, that never holds. In boxing, it never does. As what I say, it's boxing politics. We have the increased proliferation of the streaming networks that are dominating the sports. Among all the promoters, you can see boxing almost every week. Fights are still being made with the megastars. The promoters are trying to work together, yet we still need reform with boxing so everyone is on the same page. When you say boxing's not healthy, I give you an argument. Indeed, it is. It's just that the average boxing fan knows what's going on. It's the purists that know what's going on. It's getting the novice into it. Those are the people that go to the mainstream sports and don't look at boxing as that viable option to watch anymore, like it was many years ago when boxing was on the front and back pages of newspapers. Now you find it on social media. In fact, as you know, more than one occasion, controversy sparks, fights are being made because fighters use social media as their active forum in putting a fight together. Let's face it, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia did that earlier this year, built up for a year. We see it a lot with Canelo Alvarez as well. Anyway, I want to just briefly touch on the first 6 months or so of the boxing calendar and how it has progressed. And again, I'm going to say, despite the controversy, despite some bad decisions, the sport is healthy. There's a lot of money in it. Your mainstream fighters are making money, if not off the streaming networks and the promoters, but with pay-per-view. And a good amount of money it is, though pay-per-view is not as strong as it once was in the sport. Numbers are down. The unification of the heavyweight title was a top part of the boxing calendar so far. Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. And indeed, they'll do it again on December 21st in Saudi Arabia for that undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. You know, the first time we've had one since Lennox Lewis in the year 2000. So look at Tyson Fury again and Alexander Usyk. And Fury and Usyk had a brawl. It was a good heavyweight title fight. And they'll do it again. It's in demand to do it again. In fact, there might even be a trilogy if Usyk and Fury want to settle it once and for all a third time. Remains to be determined. Let's see what happens in the rematch December 21st. But that, my friends, one of the top fights early in the boxing calendar this year, along with watching the heavyweights in the division, always the face of the sport. And basically, if the heavyweights are not the face of the sport, boxing is not where it should be. The purists will always say that. In the days of Muhammad Ali, in the days of Larry Holmes and Joe Frazier and all those other greats, Ken Norton and so forth, they were the face of the sport, the heavyweight division, but no more. Instead, now we have Anthony Joshua looking to get the title back. And Dubois, they'll fight later on this year in September. The youngster, Jared Anderson, with Top Rank, who'll be on the Jake Paul card, I believe, this weekend. And then you look at this young man who's marketable, gearing towards being number one as a top pound-for-pound fighter in the business. He's looking to unify with more mega fights ahead. And that could be this guy, Gervonta Davis. We've seen Gervonta at all the times at his weight, at 140 or even 135, the left. And he did that the last time he fought out against Frank Martin, the 8th-round knockout. He's exciting. He's exhilarating. And he will draw fans. He does that. And his pay-per-view numbers, and he fights on pay-per-view, are pretty respectable, but not breaking the $1 million mark that used to be a part of the trend with boxing pay-per-view numbers. But Gervonta Davis is going to be looking to unify the title at 140 or 135, whatever he's comfortable at. Shakur Stevenson would be the mega fight. That's what he's gearing at. But Lomachenko stands in the way. Lomachenko has acquiesced and said that he was willing to step aside to see that Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson get it together in the ring, which would be a mega fight for the sport. That could happen, my friends. Maybe not this year, but early next. And then we go this year to Canelo Alvarez again, who fights only twice a year. At 168, the unified champion in the 4-belt area. There he is, Canelo Alvarez, the pride of Mexico. Many say still not as iconic as Julio Chavez Jr. was. Now, the problem here with Canelo Alvarez, will fight again in September, and his last title defense in May, fights in May and September, successful. Is he the best at 168? The guy that could change all of that is David Benavidez. You know the story here. Canelo keeps putting that aside and says, if you give me $50 million, maybe I'll do it. Well, Benavidez, who said he's moved on and is now at light heavyweight and made his debut there earlier this year, successful, well, he's still eyeing Canelo. He hints at it all the time. At the same time, David Benavidez says he's got his eyes right now on the light heavyweight title to become a 2-time champ. He wants the winner of Dimitri Bivol, Arturo Beterbiev, who'll get it going finally to unify on October 16th. So let's see where this goes with Canelo Alvarez, who's still a highlight reel in boxing as the year moves on. And then we have Lima Paro, who so far has scored the upset of the year at 147, dethroned Sabriel Matias, and that was in Puerto Rico, the homecoming for Matias. Paro shocked the boxing world just a few weeks ago in Puerto Rico. Matias' hometown is a new king at 147, at least has a part of those titles. So the divisions in boxing that are very confusing to the average boxing fan and people that are in on it like me, yours truly, very confusing. We still have the sanctioning organizations that make the decisions. They make the money for the promoters. They dictate who fights who. Those alphabet soup groups you hear me talking about every week. WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, or whatever else we have. They still dictate what goes on, yet boxing fans, even the best of them, still can't identify in the category who is the champion or who the major contenders are for these titles in the divisions. We do know this, and that is an issue that needs to be resolved, and the only way to be resolved, again, my friends, you hear me say that all the time as well. Reform is needed. Unity is needed in the sport. We're nowhere closer to it as we ever were, and maybe we can get this all together. Promoters, sanctioning groups can decide, let's do it the right way. and fans and even those that you want to draw in, the novice, will know who the champion is and who the top contenders are instead of going through a column of names. Big names, in fact, that are in the sport right now and that are the future of this great sport we love, boxing, pugilism. But the divisions to watch as we move on this year: 135, 140, 147, 168. The mega fight we also had with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Of course, they won't do it again. Talk about Garcia as I do every week in a moment. So, who is the champion? And of course, Ryan Garcia is not the champion because he missed weight and the title didn't change hands despite Garcia defeating Haney in April at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, which, by the way, did not sell out. It goes to show you a mega fight like that doesn't sell out, something might be wrong. What we need is reform, and hopefully we will get it. You need better judges. These three blind mice, as I constantly call them, botching decisions if a fighter doesn't get a knockout. Yes, it's a subjective sport. Yes, anything can happen. But when it's so obvious, just as in the case of O'Shaquie Force, the featherweight, his title was robbed a few weeks ago right off his waist. That's not fair. It's not fair to the fighter. It's not fair to the boxing fan, you and I. There needs to be reform. You need better scrutiny of judges. You need promoters to get on the same page to do this. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But if you got a National Boxing Commission, whoever can institute that, maybe we can see some change. So in September, we'll see Canelo Alvarez again. We'll see a heavyweight title once again trying to be unified for the rematch, Usyk and Fury in December. The sport is thriving. It's not mainstream as it was, but it's healthy. So I dispute anyone who tells me otherwise, that it's not a sport that is healthy. You just don't see it as a mainstream sport because boxing is not getting back page or front page headlines. You know about it on social media. That's also killed the sport to a certain extent. So, what are we going to see as we progress this year? Canelo Alvarez again, coming up in September, as he tries to continue to hold on to those unified titles at 168. Terrence Bud Crawford, who many see as possibly the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. He's coming up August 3rd. The Kings and Princes of Saudi Arabia making debut in Los Angeles on the Zone pay-per-view. Or Terrence Crawford returns. We have Usyk, the heavyweight champ. We have Gervonta Davis. We have Inoue from Japan, the two-time champ, the flyweight from Japan, who many do not know because he doesn't fight in the States, and he should to get known. He's a talented featherweight, and he's doing wonders with the sport. But he's doing it in Japan and not in the States under the top-ranked banner, and that has to be changed for him to show where his talents are and fighting the top contenders in the division. That's my state with the sport, my friends, how I feel about it this time, 6 months into July, with more to come. More super fights ahead before the year is out. Of course, more of what you want, boxing. But please, promoters, listen to Rich Mancuso. If you can, do not conflict as you always do. Have one show at a time, not two or three together, so that boxing fans can enjoy the moment and not have to focus on the competition of the Zone or the PBC now, even with Netflix involved in this, with a billion-dollar deal in the PBC. Do them one at a time. We can't focus on three major fight shows at the same time. That happens much too often, and we get confused, and we can't focus on the superstars of the sport, the young superstars of the sport, my friends, that deserve the attention by themselves, not that you have to compete and watch three fight shows at the same time. What are your thoughts? Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, Jabrosi's United, the Keep It in the Ring page, and String Punk Entertainment. All right, enough of that. Let's look at what some of the developments briefly that happened last weekend, including the homecoming successful. Finally, for Matrimony, homecoming went right. Jerron Boots Ennis, with 18,000 plus at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, retains the 147-pound title. He's 32-0 with 20 knockouts. He stopped David Abestein in 5 rounds. Dropped him in that 5th round. Abestein was not able to continue. The punch stats here tell the story. Boots Ennis is powerful. 47% of his punches to the body. He landed 60% of those power punches. A lot going on now with Eddie Hearn, his promoter, and Matchroom. Unify the 147-pound title. That's their objective. Ennis wants Terence Crawford at 154. And perhaps that's going to occur next year. Do not doubt it, with Eddie Hearn having a hold on a lot of the major fighters in the sport. And with the zone behind his corner, that, my friends, could develop into a mega fight. Terence Crawford said on X to Eddie Hearn, world-class fighter, talking about Ennis. But the double standards, be crazy, you talk good. So they're already developing interest in possibly getting Ennis and Crawford together again, probably next year, because Eddie Hearn and Boots Ennis, their objective right now, unify the titles at 157. And then there's this young man, he's 35 years old, from the Bronx, know him well. Peter Dobson was the co-main event, or chief support as they call it, on that Ennis card in Philadelphia. He had a match here against Jallo Hackett, the co-main event. 10 rounds, unanimous decision went to Hackett. Now, Peter Dobson is a warrior. Know him well. Took Conor Benn to the limit earlier this year. World-class fighter in the UK. Peter Dobson won't quit. He'll keep going at it. He makes his own fights. Right now, he's with Matchroom, doing the business with them. He'll make his money and continue as long as he wants to. And he's a man about losing. He admitted this wasn't a great effort and that he lost. Peter Dobson's a warrior. You know, here we go. The first 5 rounds, 121 to 53, first 5 rounds, he was outlanded. Hackett did that. The judges had it 97-93, 96-94 twice. Yet Dobson, here's a credit to Peter Dobson. Why you got to love him so much? He's yet to be stopped. His fights go the route. Conor Benn, again, he took him to the limit. He's 32 years old. He vows to continue. And he's a Bronx guy like me. We don't quit. Peter Dobson, you're a champ to all of us, no matter what the final result was. Philadelphia fighters, though, went 1 for 1 over the weekend. Boots Ennis wins, but the undefeated WBC number 2, IBF number 4, lightweight in the mix, Raymond Mortella, elevated to the main event on a Golden Boy show, 10-round unanimous decision over Philadelphia's Terrence Farmer, the former champ. 97-92, 96-93, 97-94, one of the 3 blind mice judges. The late comeback pulled them away in the last 3 rounds. That's what did Farmer in. Farmer landed more total punches, though, 109 to 105. Mortella, though, now in the lightweight title mix, elevated to the main event. Okay, what would a program here be every week, or social media, or boxing, without talking about Ryan Garcia? Here he is again in the news, and today he was arraigned. He's got to appear in court August 7th, 1 year ago. 1 year he's facing of prison time. So he said on social media today, I'm not going to jail. He was arraigned for destroying a very highfalutin hotel in Beverly Hills, California, just a couple of months ago. Ryan Garcia's got to appear in court August 7th and plead his case. He's being arraigned. He says he's going to rehab, and as of now, he's still not there. Here he is on social media. We assume he's there in Hawaii, relaxing, having a good time. Yet he continues to post on X, continues to make a fool of himself, what he says. He's talking about Donald Trump. Look at this tweet. Keep fighting. obviously referring to the attempt assassination on Donald Trump, who he supports, who he knows really well. He's challenging MMA fighters every day to get in the ring with him. He's looking for action. He misses boxing. But Ryan Garcia, as you know, suspended for a year, will not be fighting for at least another year. And we don't know where his future is headed. We do know this, and I'll say it again. I'll reiterate it, and I will be advocating for it more and more. This 25-year-old has trouble. He's been told he needs help, and he needs to go into rehab as soon as he can. He's admitted to having a drinking and drug problem, and he needs help. Psychological help, more important for him right now. So let's see where this spans out. But for now, he's got to go to court, and he better appear there as being arraigned August 7th in Los Angeles. If not, he does face jail time. Seeing him in the ring, though, is not happening anytime soon, unless he decides that he's going to take his business to Saudi Arabia, where the kings and princes will no doubt take him in a minute and make more money. And he has plenty of money. Moving on, Nate Diaz. Well, because he's filed a lawsuit now, he defeated Masinov, in the ring, evening the score. Masinov beat him in the cage, in the octagon. He filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Miami, say he is owed $9 million from the promoter of that fight with Masinov, Solomon Mengel and company, the company known as Fan Meal that had his fight on pay-per-view. Said he was supposed to make $1 million up front of that money. Says Engel reneged on the deal. I don't know what you believe here. I don't know the people at Fan Meal. I don't know Solomon Engel. I really don't know Nate Diaz. So I can't tell you who's telling the truth there. But then again, why would Nate Diaz come up with a lie like that? We're talking $10 million here, my folks. Hope they get that settled. Nate Diaz is now converted to being a pro fighter. Says he's going to continue soon. How about Nico Ali Walsh making some news, making some waves? Very quiet is Nico Ali Walsh with Top Rank, the grandson of the great Hall of Famer, the legend, Muhammad Ali. He says Jake Paul is fighting for high headlines, and he's fighting for his bloodline. That's the difference, as they two go at it on social media. Now, look, Jake Paul is a social media phenom. We know that. Fighting again Saturday. Jake Paul is trying to become a champion in the sport, yet he doesn't fight legitimate people to say he could be the best in the world as he says. Nico Ali Walsh, under the Top Rank banner, with the exception of one loss, has got a championship future ahead. He's a fighter and a classy kid. If Jake Paul wants to go at war with Nico Ali Walsh in social media, he's making a mistake. There's no comparison. Besides the point that Nico Ali Walsh will be a champion one day, and when Jake Paul decides he's going to test the major names in the sport, whatever division he decides to fight in, he's going to find out. Boxing's a tough game. You don't play boxing, as they say. So that's what Jake Paul, who's fighting on Saturday against Mike Perry on the Zone, if you want to catch it. Just a spectacle is Jake Paul as he continues to be. His fight with Mike Tyson, the legend, 58 years old, Hall of Fame heavyweight champ, still on at some point in the late fall, as they say, maybe November, assuming Tyson passes all medical protocol that canceled his first, the earlier date where the two of them were going to fight. All right, moving on. What's the next move for this guy, Shakur Stevenson? We just talked about him in our recap so far, the first point of the year in boxing. After his last fight with Top Rank, where does he go from here? Says he's looking what's best for him, who his next option. So his homegrown company, Top Rank, wants him back, making some type of offer. So Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. And Eddie Hearn in Matchroom looks like the leading candidate to land Shakur Stevenson. He's making a strong pitch. And the reason is Eddie Hearn says he can have Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis matched as soon as possible. So Shakur Stevenson's going to look at that, and either way you look at it, Shakur Stevenson, this young man, is going to be making an awful lot of money. He's one of those top names in the sport. And right now, the leading guy to get him is Matchroom Eddie Hearns, who seems to be lining up all the big-name fighters under the Matchroom banner. Of course, Shakur's fight with Anton was also the most watched boxing event on ESPN this year. Credit to ESPN, still showing the free fights on your cable subscription, whereas you have to go to the streaming networks and pay a fee to watch boxing. But ESPN and the top-ranked deal continues to provide you with good fights. Teofimo Lopez, a part of that package always. Also, as he continues to try to take over at 140. But that ESPN fight 2 weeks ago with Shakur Stevenson in his homecoming, again, in Newark, New Jersey, which he won, over 1,800,000 fans viewed the telecast in his fight. And that doesn't count ESPN Plus, the subscription service subsidiary of ESPN. So that goes to show you that Shakur Stevenson is very marketable for sure. And now we wait for his next option. Where does he go? Again, Eddie Hearn, right now the leading guy, the leading promoter to land Shakur Stevenson. This guy, Danny Jacobs, made it official during the week. He's retired after his last fight against Shane Mosley Jr. showed he no longer has it. We want to congratulate Danny Jacobs, known as the Miracle Man, who became a two-time champion, a cancer survivor, and a warrior he was. At 37 years old, his second fight in 4.5 years against Shane Mosley Jr. And remember here that Danny Jacobs did get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez and Triple G Gennady Golovkin and had tough decisions go against him. So Jacobs said during the week on social media, I'm able to say I'm the first cancer survivor to become world champion. Indeed, true. And being able to inspire others, he said, he's proud he's been able to do it. And my friends, he did that. He was an inspiration to all of us and to all in the boxing community. We wish well to Danny Jacobs, the Brooklyn-born product, the former champion cancer survivor, in his future endeavors. Proud to know him, proud to cover his fights, and the boxing world indeed was proud to have him. Hopefully he sticks to that decision. Matchroom Boxing again, and Eddie Hearn, well, they continue to make fights. In the fall calendar, added for August 31st, in the late summer calendar, rather, in Los Angeles, on the Zone, super middleweight Diego Pacheco, undefeated at 21-0. Pacheco is the real deal, as they say in the sport. Watch him. He's going to make a move. Canelo Alvarez, maybe. That's a tough division at 168. Pacheco continues his move. Rocky Hernandez, Dalton Smith at the Dignity Sports Park, Saturday in August 3rd in Los Angeles. Look forward to that. And congratulations to Chiquito Gonzalez, 37 years old, the veteran. Headed to the Hall of Fame one day soon. He continued his quest. Homecoming in Nicaragua. He wants to be a champion again. After 9.5-year layoff, 10th round TKO this past weekend. What a warrior Chico Gonzalez is, Chocolito as he's known, at 37 years of age, still making boxing history. And when you talk about a fight that happened earlier this year, how about Sebastian Fundora? I bypassed this. Was he the Cuban monster? Where Sebastian is like the hurricane. He's the monster. Tall, lanky, young man, became a champion, defeated. He did his job. He did what he had to do, and he knocked off Tszyu. And a bloodbath, reminiscent of Gotti Ward, those 3 fights and epic battles. So congratulations to that being maybe one of the fights of the first part of the year, Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. Moving on to the MMA. Quickly, midpoint review there. We covered it all here on Keep It in the Ring. John Jones says he's going to return. He did. Conor McGregor waiting for his return. He will. Bellator back in the picture in the second half. And John Jones with the big punch Saturday finished Joshua Van in the third round at the UFC event, MMA. First fighter to win 3 UFC fights this year. Congratulations to John Jones. More to come. And Alex Pereira, still look at him. The heavyweight, that's maybe coming to him. He wants Jones. He wants that title. But he says he needs one more fight at light heavyweight before he can get to John Jones. All right, fans. Like, comment, and subscribe to Keep It in the Ring. This is Rich Mancuso. And my social media are at the bottom of the screen. X, formerly Twitter, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, subscribe my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, Jabronis United, and Stream Punk Entertainment. Those fights coming up at the bottom of the screen there. Scroll. My producer, Scott Churchman, will join us in a moment as well. I thank him as always. He puts up with me, puts us all together every week. Coming up after the break, hopefully we got him. Former light heavyweight champion of the world, Lou DelValle from the Bronx. Headed to the Hall of Fame one day, I hope soon. We'll talk to Louie. We'll have a fact of the week with him as well. We got more to come. This is Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso, everyone. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, Scott, take an extended break again. We're trying to load up Louis DelValle. Stay with us, fans. We'll get him back in a moment with Keep It in the Ring. All right. All right, bear with us, folks, and we're trying to line up Louis DelValle. I want Louis DelValle on the program. He's going to be on the program. He's having trouble logging in, so this is live. We do encounter this stuff from time to time, lining up guests or whatever. My great producer, Scott Churchman, is trying to line this up as well as I am. I just spoke to Louis. He's just having trouble logging on right now. Let me background everyone on Louis DelValle's career. Former light heavyweight champion of the world, also a cruiserweight. Honey Boy was his name, from the Bronx. Numerous Golden Glove champions, New York City Golden Gloves. Also now a renowned trainer. Trained Voodoo Jack under the Floyd Mayweather camp at one point, who became a champion at cruiserweight. The career was 44-6 with 22 knockouts. Quite impressive for Louis DelValle. He beat Eddie Sanders for the title, and Eddie Smollers, rather, for the title. And then his fight of his career against the Hall of Famer, Roy Jones Jr., where he lost unification for the light heavyweight titles, WBC, WBA belt. First fight, though, that Roy Jones got knocked down, and that's the guy who did it right there. the champ, Lou
What's up, man?
DelValle
What's up?
from the Bronx. How are you, champ?
I'm okay, brother. How you?
Good to have you. I'm glad you were able to log on. We're killing some time, and I was trying to background everyone that don't know about you. I do, and a lot of others do, but there may be newbies, as I say, to the sport to know who you don't know who you are, but they all know who you are. They can see you every day. You're a great trainer now at John's Gym in the Bronx.
Yes.
How's that been going? I know the transition made you a trainer of a champion, Voodoo Jack, and you continue to work with these young kids in the gym every day. And how's that going for you? Do you like that transition?
Well, I got tired of being in Vegas. I was in Vegas for 7 years. I was training Voodoo Jack, made him 2-time world champ. I trained Ronald Gabriel. They all was Mayweather's fighters. Ashley Theofame, I got his name here. He came to visit me from London. I trained a lot of fighters over there, but I just got tired of being home. I wanted to be home. I didn't want to be out there no more. So
I know you. Yeah, I know that. I know you love the Bronx, and you have a lot of friends here.
My family
and your family as well. You're a grandfather as well.
Yes, sir.
And you have a lot with you as far as your background, Louis. You know, one thing amazed me about you all these years, and I covered your fights as an amateur. The first day you walked in the Morris Park Boxing Gym down in the Bronx, and then as a successful pro, the one thing about Louis DelValle that I always loved was your stamina and will to continue and never quit. Again, Bronx guys are strong. I'm a part of that myself, but you never gave up. There were times that you got so frustrated with the sport, yet Louis DelValle continued. Why is that? Why was that, and why does that continue?
To be honest with you, it's because, you know, I had a tough life growing up. I grew up in the projects, you know, the hood, and it made me tough. When I moved to the Bronx, I got off of drugs, and then I was determined to be a fighter, and I wanted to be somebody because I knew that I had the athletics, I had the skills, I was athletic. I could play any sport, but boxing didn't need you to go to school. You know what I'm saying? So I started fighting at 19, and I became a Golden Glove champ at 20. So I knew I had it, and I wasn't going to quit doing
it. And you went in the gym and said you were going to be a champion.
Yep.
And you got that opportunity. You know, one thing we got to see is Louis DelValle in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and I vouch for that every year. But they bypass good people. I'm one of them as well. I'm not in the Hall of Fame yet, and I give up with that. But you more so. It belongs to the fighters.
No,
a guy like you should be in the Hall of Fame.
What you say is that you should be in the Hall of Fame because all the Bronx fighters that come up, and me, my sister, my brother-in-law, you always made us have a name. You made people recognize us. You gave us the exposure that we never had. You know, back then they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have, they didn't have computers like this. We had to go into your studio live. So
right.
I respect you because you gave us the chance as an amateur and as a pro. And you built our confidence up. So you did right by the Bronx.
Thank you, champ. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, but I'm doing what I had to do. And you guys all deserve that attention. And I did the best I could, and I continue to do that. But let's talk more about you again, because you've had a distinguished career.
Yes.
And you went in there and you meant business. You won the title, but people have to take a look. It's on YouTube. Most of your fights are on YouTube, including this one with the Hall of Famer, the former light heavyweight champ and cruiserweight champ and heavyweight. He turned heavyweight. That guy, Roy Jones Jr., who you put down on the floor for the first time.
But
go back a bit, Scott. We're gonna roll back. We're gonna roll some of that footage of Scott. Can you roll some of that and show you some of this footage? And you could talk about it. Go ahead, Louis.
No, I really want to talk about the fight before that and the fight before that. Remember, I fought for the title 5 times. I only lost once, and I lost with knocking Roy Jones down. The other fights I got robbed. I fought Virgil Hill, 22-0.
Right. You fought the Olympic. You fought the Olympic silver medalist of 1984. I'll talk more about him next week because we're coming at the Paris Games, the Summer Olympics start next week. But the Virgil Hill fight was controversial.
Yes, it was. I fought him in his hometown. I dropped him for the first time. Virgil Hill had 22 title defenses. I only had 22 fights. So that was the biggest fight of my career. I should have been champ and should have been undefeated. Then I had
what made you become such a great puncher as you were against guys like Virgil Hill and again Roy Jones? Lou DelValle always had power. We knew that. Always had the skill. We knew that. But what got you with the tenacity to get those guys to put them down? What did it?
Power. It's technique. Remember, I told you I was an athlete. I threw a baseball. I could throw a 90-mile-an-hour baseball. I could throw a football like a quarterback. So was my left hand, and I was a southpaw. I was very smart. I knew how to use my strengths against the right-handers. And my 1-2, I call it a 1.5 because it's so fast. And that's how I get him. I snuck it in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's reminisce a little bit and look at some of this footage here.
I got robbed this fight.
Yeah. That's the fight against Virgil Hill?
This is in his hometown.
Yeah, I didn't cover that fight. So
I dropped him in the second round. The bell.
Right. And there you are. And that's your classic stance there. And again, I mean, your footwork was great. Your defense was excellent as well. And again, you had that ability to come in on a fighter and finish the job.
Yeah, 42 fights. He was 22 title defenses. He had more title defenses than I had fights. I only fought 1 10-round in my career. And I fought in his hometown.
And Virgil Hill was ever so popular as well.
Yes.
Had a great following. And I know you two, they didn't have social media back then, so there wasn't that vicious animosity that exists today. So the two of you complemented each other very well. Turned out to be a good fight. Yeah, you got robbed, but go back to the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Yeah. How was it getting in there with Roy Jones Jr.?
Oh, man, forget it. It's like trying to catch a fly in the air. You know what I'm saying?
What made it so difficult to fight Roy Jones Jr.? You and every fighter that fought him said the same thing.
His speed and his power. His speed made power. He was so fast. I never seen nobody that fast before.
He had the speed and he also had the power, which is a great attribute for any fighter, and he became that great champion. When you put him down for the first time in his career, what was going through your mind? Can you reflect on that a bit?
Well, when he went down, I still was frustrated the way I fought because, I had almost a year layoff. And, he took the fight at short notice because he replaced somebody else. I think it was Reggie Johnson. I don't know who it was. So I took the fight at the last minute. So that's what I'm mad about. But I can't take nothing away from Roy. I predicted to the Post or the Times that I was going to drop him at least twice.
I remember you telling me that back then too, that you were going to do that, and you did. Yeah. And there you are. The grappler you were there. Was that because of a butt or a legitimate?
That was a headbutt.
Right. Which most of the time will slow a fighter down, but it didn't slow you up, Louie.
Yeah, I know, but he's great. You can't take nothing away from him. That guy was great, and I wanted to see how great I was. I could have took another fight, but I wanted to win all 3 belts, and I thought I had that chance with my left. I thought I could have put him down twice.
Was there a pitch to fight him again?
Yeah.
And what happened? How come that fight never happened again?
He never wanted to fight me again.
Because he knew.
Yeah. Definitely.
Louis DelValle, the former light heavyweight champion of the world from the Bronx. He's known as Honey Boy. How did you get that nickname, Honey Boy?
I got it from my first trainer. I was very cocky, and I always wanted to spar, and I just started fighting. And one day he comes up to me with his soft voice. He was a killer. Ulysses Jimenez. He was a killer. But
I remember the late Luis Jimenez. The Morris Park gym. Yeah, he was old school at its best.
At his best. So he was so smooth. He'd say, like he was punch drunk. So he would go, Louis, I want you to get a taste of honey. So I didn't know what he was talking about. So when I went in there, I got my ass kicked because I was cocky. So when I got my ass kicked, I said, oh, this is a taste of honey. So and then when I got better and better, he used to come up to me and say, Louis, I want you to give him a taste of honey.
And you did. You did.
And that's why I call myself
You did. Champ, you worked with Floyd Mayweather Jr., the Hall of Famer, undefeated, great wonder for the sport. You lived out there in Vegas a while. You helped him with other fighters, including Gervonta Davis, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I never worked with Gervonta Davis.
No, but you worked with some of his fighters, though.
Am I
correct?
I worked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his fighters. That was Floyd. Floyd was the promoter.
And you trained the champion, Voodoo Jack.
Yeah, and I had Ronald Gabriel.
Right, Ronald Gabriel. And Voodoo Jack, you were very proud of Jack when he won that title.
Right.
You groomed him to get there. You were very proud of him. And you led him to that title, and then he lost it. What happened? Are you still working with Voodoo Jack?
No, he didn't lose it. What happened was he won the title. Then he kept getting draws and all that. Then he won the light heavyweight title. So when he won the light heavyweight title, he gave up the light heavyweight to fight for the super middleweight. He fought Floyd like 3 or 4 times. We got draws. You know what I'm saying? We kept getting robbed because
I know. I remember. Yeah, one of those. I do remember one of them was a draw. I forgot who the fight was, or even where it was.
Yeah, about
but I do remember. One of those draws definitely should have been his win. Yes. I remember that. I remember that correctly. What made you work with him so well?
What happened was we had history together in Florida. He came from Sweden, and he was with a company that I was with. So I was the trainer. The company went down. If he didn't get a manager, he had to leave back to his country. So he got a quick manager. He was only 4-0 as a pro. So he got the manager, and he said the manager wanted him to go with Eddie Mustafa. So I said, I'm going back home. So I went back home. He got signed with Mayweather because Mayweather liked him. He won 16 in a row, and then he got stopped on Showtime.
Right.
He got stopped.
We don't remember that fight really well.
Then he called.
Yeah, and he called you back, right?
No, he begged me to come down. I felt bad. I went there, and that's all he wrote.
Give your opinion briefly, Champ, about working with Floyd Mayweather Jr. What type of a fighter, businessman was he?
Well, I think he's pretty good business because he got a lot of good people around him. I know one thing. Nobody can say this about Floyd. He is not cheap. He's a promoter.
We know that.
He's a promoter that gave me a $30,000 check when Voodoo Jack won the world title.
Very good.
That's not including my paycheck.
Right, and then, see that people look at Floyd as this not a successful champion. Yeah, but you know that Floyd does have a heart and does take care of people, especially those that work with him in the boxing industry. That's a known fact. You can't take that away from him. Yep. Louis, I got to wrap this up real soon, and I appreciate you coming on. This has been great. I'll have you on again, and we'll meet because we're almost neighbors still. What's wrong with this sport? I opened up this broadcast tonight talking about how good the sport is and what's going on. You have your views on it. You come from the old school age, almost just like me. but relatively new as well. But the sport seems to never be unified. What's wrong with it?
Corrupt. It's politics. It's what it's not what you know, it's who you blow. I said that, and it's the truth. There's a lot of people who don't belong there.
People don't know that. I talk about it every week. The average fan, not in on it, doesn't know that these alphabet soup organizations run the sport.
Yes.
And they dictate who's going to fight who, which isn't fair. I'm calling for the National Boxing Commission for safety, for everything, unity and reform. Do you think that would work?
I think a union will work. All sports have a union.
Right.
Or they have a representative. Boxing don't have that.
No.
If I tell you stuff I've been through, you'll go crazy.
Because former fighters like you, they not only could be the best judges at ringside, most of all don't have pensions like other sports and athletes do, or a normal working person throughout their career or lifetime. They have no pension. So if you don't save money after the long, distinguished fight career and get embattled in the ring, if you don't save it and put it in the right spot, class in points. So many fighters go broke and are on the street. Fortunately, that's not you, because I know you put your money in the right place.
I wouldn't say that, but I know I did a lot of good things, and I'm living a good life.
Yeah, you're comfortable. That's what counts. And you're healthy, which is even more important. Or you wouldn't be in that gym every day. You wouldn't be in that gym every day being involved with the young people you are and training them to become future champions as you were. You're giving back to them, basically. I know what you're doing.
Exactly. I don't want to deal with politics, though. That's my problem. I want to make pros and sign with the right people, and that's it. I don't want to be down with one promotion and the other promotion keeps giving us the finger.
Quickly, I'm going to mention some of the promoters' names. Some you were involved with, some of you weren't. I'm getting Floyd Mayweather out of this. Just briefly, give me your opinion. Don King.
I don't really know because I was with him, but he never got me the belt title because he was under pressure with the lawsuit. But he did me good.
Bob Arum.
I think he's the best in the business.
I agree to that.
He gets
Eddie Hearn now at Matchroom.
Eddie Hearn is pretty good too.
Okay.
He takes care of his European fighters.
All right. And how about Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya?
Pretty good too.
Anyone else that I might have missed that you can comment about?
Al Heyman takes care of his fighters.
PBC always does. People don't see Al Heyman in the background. But he's been very instrumental in a lot of champions, and now has to deal with Netflix after Showtime went out.
He's a very
Louis,
man.
This has been a pleasure, but I'm not going to let you go. Every guest of mine has to get the fact of the week. Are you ready? It's not trivia. I'm going to throw something out. You try and get it the best you can. Okay?
Yes.
You're not a winner. You're not a loser here. Just try it. All right? Here we go, Louis. Listen carefully. Fact of the week with the former world champion, Lou DelValle. The ring general. This is the big one, son. This is the fighter who said that. Said this was a trainer, okay, who said this. He was known as a ring general. This is the big one, son. Now get the hell out there and run. Who is a trainer? You're a trainer now. Who said that? What famous boxing trainer said that?
I don't know. Angelo Dundee.
You got it. These fighters know their history. Angelo Dundee, yes, said that to Muhammad Ali. Then he was known as Cassius Clay in the first Sonny Liston fight. Nice. Story goes, Dundee washed Ali's eyes, who claimed he couldn't see, and they wanted to take off his gloves, Ali, and he couldn't do it. He also, of course, Angelo Dundee also trained the famous Hall of Famer, great champion, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yes, he did.
So yeah, Angelo Dundee, the ring general. Wow, Louis, you got it. All the fighters get my facts of the week. Congrats, my friend.
Take care. God bless.
This was great. Thanks for joining me. I'll be in touch. Continue the great work with the young kids in the John's Boxing Gym in the Bronx, where people can get. Is there any way that anyone can get in touch with you on social media?
Well, look up John's Gym, and I'm in there.
Okay, and hopefully your day and call will come to be the newest member inductee in the Boxing Hall of Fame. I hope it happens soon. I know I vote for you every year. I write your name in. So we got to do that.
I think my sister should be in it, not me.
Oh, that's right. That's another thing before I let you go. Lou DelValle is one of those rare, you took Sebastian Fundora and his sister are champions. Not the first. Louis DelValle has a sister who became a world champion.
She won 2 Golden Gloves. She won the Nationals. She was signed with Don King before me. She won 4 titles and 3 weight divisions.
That's right. Melissa DelValle. How's she doing? Okay?
She's doing great.
Great. And so are you, champ. My pleasure. Thanks for being with me.
All right.
I'll be in touch. The former world champion, light heavyweight champion, Louis DelValle, Honey Boy as he was known. Great having him on. I'm glad we connected. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. We reminisced and also gave his views about some of the things in the sport today. Credit to the sport of boxing. All right, let's continue with Keep It in the Ring before we take a final break and wrap all this up. Because it's pro wrestling time. We got to talk that. August 3rd upon us soon. SummerSlam, Cleveland, Ohio. WWE starting to get it together. These 3 going to be a major part of it. Now, the love triangle. Mommy, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, the champ, Dirty Dom Mysterio. It's culminating. It's getting close. The SummerSlam match will be signed. But still, Rhea Ripley has not been cleared to wrestle yet. So let's see where this goes. But good angle. Again, creative with WWE and Triple H with these 3. It's much watched theater on Monday Night Raw. And CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Will it happen? Or Seth Rollins getting involved to make this a triple threat at SummerSlam? Because Punk reportedly still not cleared to wrestle, expected though to be for the August 3rd SummerSlam event. Drew McIntyre's become a vicious heel. Never happy. Love the character though. The fans can't stand him. Once one of the most beloved heroes in WWE, no more. Yet CM Punk gets more cheers. And CM Punk one day could be heel again. He's good at that as well. SummerSlam match to be determined. What do you make of Chad Gable and Uncle Howdy? Gable's running away from it, and every time he tries to, he's confronted by Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas. More of that on Monday Night Raw this week, and more coming up next week. That Uncle Howdy gimmick with Bo Dallas, of course, the creation originally of the late Bray Wyatt, his brother, and it's going real well. WWF is riding a high as they go into the end of the year, where Raw moves to Netflix and so does SmackDown and all those changes on the networks. A lot of money involved, but they're living up to expectations, what they're supposed to do. Congratulations to my buddy and colleague in the business, Joe Tessador, who's now going to be the newest commentator, WWE at ringside. Probably Monday Night Raw is where they're going to put him. Don't know you have to be there, or SmackDown. Going to be a great addition to the WWE commentary team. Joe Tessador, of course, known for his boxing talent, calling the fights at ringside for ESPN, college baseball, college football analyst, and so forth. Congrats, Joe. You deserve it, and you're going to do well. And now we go to AEW briefly. You watched Dynamite last night. You saw a classic old school 1 hour match. Old school because it went 1 hour. MJF, champion again, international title, takes it from Will Ospreay. Great 1 hour match on AEW Dynamite. The best part of it, my friends, as you know, and they go to commercial break, they go picture in picture so you don't miss anything. The right thing to do. You know, MJF striving to become their champion again, world champion, and he will. He is as vicious as heel as can be right now. And Team All Elite and Darby Allin with his entrance last night from the Raptors, really, really good. And Team All Elite and AEW going at it, leading up to All In at Wembley on August 21st. How about Mariah May and what she's doing to Tony Storm and how she mimicked her, talked and dressed like her on Dynamite last night, developing into something there as well for AEW. And Dr. Britt Baker wearing the Sting mask and going after Mercedes last night on AEW. You know what? AEW is making a little comeback right now. If they keep this up, they're going to get very popular again. Their ratings are moving up a little bit. They're getting ready for All In, the next big pay-per-view at Wembley where 80,000 will be. And also, they're in a new media rights deal. Will they be with Warner Brothers Cable still on TNT and TBS? Remains to be seen. But that's why you're seeing a lot more interest and activity heightened right now with AEW. But good job last night, AE Dynamite, as they get ready for All In. All right, fans, last break of the night, brief, and I'll come back. The nostalgia and something else, a little more. This is Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso, live on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Jabronis United and String Punk Entertainment. Stay with us. This is Keep It in the Ring. Back in a moment.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Get ready for pandemonium. October 12th will be here sooner than you think. ACW Jason Knight. More on the program about that in the weeks to come, my friends. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there again, calling the matches at ringside. Nostalgia time here at Keep It in the Ring. Thanks for being with us. We're almost done here this week. July 18th, 1951. There it was. Jersey Joe Walcott knocked out Ezra Charles in the 7th round heavyweight championship before 28,272 fans at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, where they used to play baseball with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Walcott then was a 9-1 underdog. His 5th attempt at the title, was the oldest to win the heavyweight title then, before George Foreman did it and beat Michael Moore at age 45 in 1994, if you remember that. The left hook to the jaw. Fight of the year at the time, Jersey Joe Walcott against Edward Charles for the heavyweight championship. And that was classic boxing in the old days. That was a fight. Of course, I wasn't around live to see it. Seen it many times on video. If you can, do it. It's on YouTube. You can catch it. A lot of the nostalgia fights I come up with come out of YouTube. So if you're a fight aficionado and love the sport as much as I do, check that out. That's one of many great ones. More next week. I enjoy doing this, and I know that you do because I get your comments about it all the time. And finally, with the Paris Summer Olympics coming upon us next week, boxing once again will be on the schedule. Again, not going to be very, very much in the limelight. On Peacock, NBC, you might just see highlights. But there I was in 1984, the last time the Summer Games was in Los Angeles. I was a part of the U.S. Olympic team, America, working the boxing venue. And there I was able to witness history. That Olympic team in 1984 boxing team achieved history with gold medals and silver medals. You heard Virgil Hill, Louis DelValle a little while ago on that segment. Well, you had, coming out of here, Pernell Whitaker. You had Virgil Hill. And you had Terrell Biggs, and Evander Holyfield became heavyweight champion of the world. Many of those fighters became champions out of the 84 Summer Games, the Olympics. The last time the U.S. boxing team achieved such success in gold, silver or gold, was at that 1984 team in Los Angeles at the old LA Sports Forum. That was the venue. They'll do it again next week in Paris, and the Olympics return to LA in 2028. God willing, I'll be there again and work the same venue for them. However, boxing may not be a part of it, as they're looking to phase it out because of corruption and all other politics, even on the amateur ranks. That would be a shame. But there I was, the crazy looking uniform that I still have. That's history, my friends. That's a young Rich Mancuso in 1984 with a crazy looking uniform that I still have. You want it? I'll give it away to you. Let me know. Just sitting in the storage box. Anyway, that puts a wrap at Keep It in the Ring this week. Thanks again to Lou DelValle, Honey Boy, the former light heavyweight champion of the world. Hope you enjoyed that. That was great. And again, we recapped the boxing world a little bit the first half of the year. Hope you understood my message. And again, it comes down to one thing. We need unity and reform in this sport to make this great sport of boxing to be where it belongs, on top, where it once was. And my friends, I believe it can happen. Just that everybody's got to be on the same page. That's why they call it boxing politics. Because after all, in this political season of 2024, it is politics, isn't it? Thank you, Scott Churston, for putting this together. As always, puts up with me each and every week. Social media to get me, X, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. As we're seeing live on my YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe, fans. Please do that. And also, Jabronis United and String Punk Entertainment. Back with you next week, probably same time, live, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope you be with us, and hope you have a great week. Stay cool in this hot weather. Be good to each other, and most of all, God bless. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thank you for watching. This is Keep It in the Ring. Thank you. See you next week.